You're
Who's
getting
got a camera but me?
Well, we could share one with you.
Okay.
You can pull out your phone and get going. Always a lot of hurry up and wait, just like at the movies. Except, of course, the movies I've been involved in, which have just gone to like clockwork, right? They're as smooth as silk, in case anybody's watching that wants to hire me again.
So that would be a soft one.
Okay.
Sound check parameters. And this would be a hard one. That's louder. On the spot, whateverness.
I'm not getting anything out of the pickup. Is it not on?
Is out and in or in and out?
Let's see. You got your Gazinta into your Gazalta, and the Gazalta goes into my Gazinta.
I wonder if the battery's flipped or something. You know what? Let's not worry about it. We can go direct if you want to. So I'll just take the blue one.
More tests, in case you're wondering. And then I'm just putting this picture up on Instagram in case anybody has missed the link. But of course, if you're watching this, you have the link. It's for everybody else.
I shouldn't do that too much, should I?
Yeah, you can.
I can do my own rhythm section.
Yeah. We're used to having Chris Smither in.
Oh my goodness.
So.
He's got rhythm for days. He's played these guitars. He played this one and that one, and he liked that one better.
That one sounded great. This one sounds good. That one sounded very good too.
This one has a different kind of rosewood on it. It's older. This is a Brazilian rosewood, I think, on the back. It's quite a bit older. This one is about 7 years old, I think, and this one is about 1990.
Oh, okay.
So almost 20. It's 19.
Oh, congratulations. Happy birthday. Well, this room
How's that
often causes people
It wasn't your problem.
Oh.
to have to tune often, so don't be surprised if you find yourself having to tune
Thank you.
often.
Thank you.
And since it's going to be recorded, except for everybody watching live, you can stop. You'll just have to
You
sit
can
there and
sort of get the behind the scenes,
Yeah.
in front of the scenes and behind the scenes. All the scenes.
all the scenes.
All the scenes
Everything.
and
Everything.
entity.
Start and stop
Everything.
and make some generation you
And
can.
Johnny, just let us know when you're
No,
ready.
it won't. It's just all one call.
Let us
Okay.
know when you're ready.
All right.
We're ready in here for
Okay.
I need 1 minute.
Everybody's ready except those guys in the corner.
I'm
Can I
almost
get
there.
one short sound check from you now that I've fixed the DI problem?
Let's see. I should do loud because.
Like, you want to stay here? Okay. No, I mean, I was going to say I could set you up a chair.
All right. So what I would,
mess up my hair.
yeah,
Sorry.
the last minute hair mess up is so important.
It's so important.
What I'll have you do is start with a song, which you can introduce if you want to, or you can just start playing.
Okay.
And then we'll talk, and then you'll play another song, and then we'll talk, and you'll play another song, and we'll go back and forth like that.
Okay. Awesome.
So we're ready whenever you guys in there are ready. Whenever you're ready. You're ready? Okay?
So you can do that one.
You guys are ready back there behind the chairs? Can you look over there? I think that they're ready. Are they ready? Thumbs up? Okay. So whenever Sonia is ready,
Okay.
we're ready. Thank you guys that are with us on relay. I had to stop for a minute. I almost called it by its old name. I'm sorry. Next time we'll find a way that you can send us questions. But I thank you very much for being the guinea pigs this time. You can be kind in your reviews.
Highways turning, circles bending, life defines who could be your friend. Till you stand under them, you never really know the glow of headlights on the road. Mark my time, tired eyes glory to see you pouring red wine on the snow. It's all the talk we take with love unnamed shame. When I can get you, how can someone so alive who used to be your side, happy in a galaxy far away, starring in somebody else's play? Was all talk we turned confused with love unnamed change. When I can get you, I put the letter to Dad on a cassette in an envelope. I didn't listen to it. That's between you and me. Was all the talk we take confused, love unnamed change. When I can get you.
Broken Film is the title track to your 17th album.
Yes.
17 is quite an amazing achievement. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Now, I'm going to call you Sonia because I've always called you Sonia. But it's Disappear Fear, which is really, do you like to be, how do you like to be addressed?
Well, you know, I started my music professionally, seriously, with Disappear Fear, which was me and my sister, and that was 27 years ago, actually. And then Cindy was leaving the band, and I wanted the Disappear Fear name to stay with that harmony sound, with a bigger sound. I was still always the lead singer primarily and always the songwriter. But anyway, so I should have, Wilco didn't change their name. They're just, they've been Wilco, and it's one guy, and it's been like a revolving door with everybody else. As you grow, I mean, as your songs change, as you write differently, and of course that should naturally happen, right? Roots and branches. But anyway, so then I became Sonia, and the reason why I didn't use Sonia Rutstein was because Rounder at the time said, marketing wise, nobody knows who Sonia Rutstein is, and we got to get Disappear Fear back in the title. They didn't really say it that way. They're very kind, actually. I love them. But they said, let's try and make it Sonia of Disappear Fear instead of Sonia Rutstein
Right.
of Disappear
Well, I remember that slogan for a long while. Right.
So it's been both things, and now, you know, this CD I love the way all the musicians came together for it, and there's a lot of harmonies on it, and it's a much more so we say accessible sound. It's you know, it's not a blues CD, like it's not one of my world music ones. You know, it's really the essence of me and the sound of Disappear Fear. So I'll go with that.
Well, it does kind of harken back to those early records a little bit, but it's evolution. I mean, it's not those early records.
Yeah, I couldn't have written those songs 17 years ago, 20 years ago. I had to write them. They're written really in the past 2 years, all of them. So, yeah.
Well, for everyone who has not followed your career or didn't listen to the interview that we did, I don't know how many years ago it was, but Cindy was singing with you then. However, she was getting ready to stop singing with you. Does that help?
Yes,
date
yes,
when
that
we
would
did
have
that
been, that would have
last
been the
interview?
early 90s. Cindy stopped singing with me all the time in 96.
Okay.
But Dylan, her first son, was born in January of 94. And actually our Rounder record came out in June of 94. It was insane.
Well, I think I'm going to say that it was probably around 96.
Okay.
Maybe.
She's on that. That CD,
Okay.
my life is in CDs. That would be Seed in the Sahara.
Okay.
And it's not a bad life, though, actually, when I think about that. It's a good life. Yeah, that would be Seed in the Sahara. And, yeah.
Well, that was the first interview that we did, and then we did a little one early in 2013.
Yes.
But there was a bunch of years in between that, so fill in the gap. Actually, start at the beginning. I associate you with the East Coast of the United States. Have you always lived here?
I haven't. In 95, me and my partner went out to California, and we lived in San Francisco and Berkeley. I was out there for about 2 years because it was my dream to just sort of have like my, sort of have my little lesbian cozy marriage out in a little cozy little house out there, and we did. It was my dream, and it just didn't really work out the way I thought it would actually at all. As I had all of that, and I really missed my friends. I missed my family on the East Coast. I missed my band. I thought I was a much more East Coast. I love being on the West Coast, but I think I'm an East Coast girl. Whatever that is. I don't know if it's, I don't know what it is. But
So it was sort of an extended vacation, and then you came back.
yeah. I mean, I've spent quite a bit of time out there. Recorded out there. We did Seed in the Sahara in Hollywood, and in fact, I stayed with Roy in Malibu. It was awesome. Roy Bittan produced that CD of the E Street Band, and that was a lot of fun, being out there and doing that.
Have you always been a writer?
Yes. Ever since Stephen Berkowitz in 10th grade said, wow, he wanted me to be part of my high school literary team. And I'm like, really? He's like, yeah, you got some cool stuff. I'm like, cool. and so, yeah, so that was the beginning of my writing. It's very disjunct and very obtuse, because that was a big part of, not really being, I wanted to be myself, but I didn't want anybody to know who that was. That was very scary. So, yeah, so I would just, words were a great way of, you could really play with words and say 7 things at once that meant different things. And so I would go, yeah, that's what that is, but the essence of it. And sometimes people would point out, which still happens, as a writer to writer, that, the interpretation can be quite different. Am I going off in La La Land too much?
No.
Sorry.
No. I mean, I have other friends that say to me, people will come up after hearing a song and tell them what they think it means, and oftentimes they're nowhere near what the original writer intended, which is fine. Sometimes, you know, a cloud is just a cloud.
Yes. Yes.
Sometimes it can mean other things.
Yes, yes. And in writing, really, once you've done it, it's everybody else's anyway, so, yeah.
I mean, isn't it all about to make us think anyway?
Yeah, well, it's, yes, and that's really actually, that's a big part of my writer development and hopefully my human development as well. To be very honest, to be able to figure out in a song what it is I'm trying to say, and to have people get that. In a room where that's not maybe someone's experience, but if you find that place in someone, in the song, in the words, in the story, you can touch people, and it's an amazing thing, because really my audience is really all over all ages, you know, I remember early on this guy coming up to me, all these Harleys had driven up to the show I had in Philadelphia, in Pennsylvania, and I think it was in New York, and it was clearly a really tough motorcycle gang, and one of the guys started coming over to me. I was just taking a breather outside before I went back on, and said, "Sonia," I was like, "Yeah," he goes, "Will you play for Hollywood?" "I will." I'm like, "Yeah." I mean, they were there to see me, and it was like, that was a big, wow.
With a motorcycle gang.
Totally. I mean, it's like, yeah. I mean, you could, yeah.
Because that might not be what people would think of as your typical audience.
No, I mean, but that is that's it too. I mean, it's like, you know, of course, I made a career with folk festivals and folk music, but there's a lot of people like from all over, you know, just different. It's really where you really get the exposure, because that's why the internet's been so awesome, and you know, and other forms of not just commercial radio, because they're there and they're like, it's like, and you know, like my music and my whole work is about disappearing fear and whatever that is for each person, and so there's all these different levels of it. Even when I'm singing in English, I did a show in part of a women's conference in Helsinki a couple years ago, and these women only spoke Russian and I think it was Lithuanian, and I'm doing this song called "Won't Let Go," a song that I wrote for my dad, and they're just, and I don't think they knew a word of it. It was so hard to, like, there was, you know, but they got it, and I love that. I mean, it's like, yeah, that is, they got every word of it. I'm not understanding most of what they were hearing.
Just the emotion.
Yeah.
How do people find you? You know, you were talking about the internet opening up whole new worlds and not commercial radio. How do people find you? Is it word of mouth?
It's, yes, I think word of mouth is a big part of it. The internet, of course, and we just got a Disappear Fear phone app, which is free.
Well, I was going to ask you about that, but
we just like, it's a week and a half old.
and people can get all kinds of. How much music is on that app?
We have actually, on the app, you can get over 40 free songs. I have like 2 or 3 samples from 15 of the CDs.
And videos.
And videos too. Yeah, everything's like, which I love. Just it being, like we're talking about this being in one place, it's like, it's so nice. It's very easy to use. It loads fast, and it doesn't bog down your phone either. If you're worried on the techie end of it like going slow or taking up too much space, it doesn't do
And
that.
it's available on all platforms.
Yes.
So
yes.
people can find it how?
Well, right now, the best way to get it will be on iTunes. I don't think it's on iTunes yet. It will be, it's on disappearfear.com, my website, and go to the news page and click on the MobBase link. It's app.mobbase.com /11893/.
Don't do that.
I say
Just
slash.
go to our website
Yeah.
and find
Blah,
it.
blah, blah, blah.
But
I
not
made
right
it
this
difficult.
second. If you're listening right this second, stay with us,
Stay with
because
us.
there's going to be more music. In fact, give us another song right now.
Okay. Maybe I should do the one for my dad.
Oh, okay. And tell us a little bit about your dad.
My dad was amazing. My dad was the only person to do Marco Polo's entire journey. And he did quite a few presentations at the Smithsonian here in
Wow.
D.C., sharing photos and videos. And not the only person to do it in its completion as closely as we figured to the way Marco did it, because the end part of it, after you get through the Hindu Kush and Pakistan mountains, on the other side of that is Western China's nuclear testing ground. So it was a lot of time between it. He did the first part. He did it in 3 parts, 75, 80, 85. I met him when I was in Israel for the first time because Marco Polo went there as well. From Venice to Israel to Cyprus. He was on the Greek side of Cyprus and needed to get to Turkey. Thank goodness he got on the right boat that went like this, he said. You know?
Oh my goodness.
And so, and he has a book about it in the Footsteps of Marco Polo and on the Odyssey of Marco Polo, which is also available in places, even though he's not here anymore. But I wrote this song to him because he talked to me about opening up music. My mom loves music, but classical music and very figured out, and I like music that's free too. It's good to do the homework, but it's nice when it can be freer. And my dad helped me develop that. I think he saw that in me. Won't let go is what it's called. Ooh, better fix this. The very first time I was learning to ride without training wheels or you by my side. Down a steep hill, I took a ride. There was a car coming at me and one from behind. You said, don't let go, just hold on, keep your eye on the road and your heart in the sun. Whatever happens is already done. Don't let go, don't let go. He gave me a guitar. And I said, Dad, I'm gonna be a big star. And he said, son, you gotta practice real hard. But to me, you already are. Don't let go, just hold on, keep your eye on the road and your heart in the sun. Whatever happens is already done. And she took you to the doctor and get you checked out. See what that headache was really about. And when he returned, I figured news would be bad. Now I'm saying these words to you, Dad. Don't let go, just hold on, keep your eye on the road and your heart in the sun. Whatever happens, already done. Don't let go, don't let go. Then I heard your voice, and all my fear disappeared. I know exactly why we are here. It's for this moment, recognize that you will always be by my side, and I won't let go. Rolling on down my eyes on the road, and my heart is so. Whatever happens, already done. Won't let go. Won't let go. Rolling on down my eyes on the road, and my heart is so. Whatever happens, already done. Won't let go. I won't let go. I won't let go.
Sonia is visiting with us in the Root Studio this week. Your dad sounds like quite an adventurer, quite an amazing guy.
Thank you. I think so. Yeah. Yeah. Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Did he hear that song?
He did, and I played it for him. He passed away from a very long and a wonderful, not wonderful, but inspiring, not wonderful, inspiring challenge of lung cancer. But he did hear it, and he loved it. I played it for him, I think, for the first time on his 80th birthday, actually. and he loved it, and yeah.
Now, what did he think of your grand adventure off conquering the world?
You know, he was amazing. He's from Baltimore. He was born and raised in Baltimore, and he spent the second half of his life actually in Seattle, created a new life for himself with a new family, a couple of half sisters, and my stepmom's out there, and so who was half his age when they got married. It was one of those 50-25 deals sort of thing, or 26, I think she was. She was only really about 7 years older than me. But I've lost your question. What did you say?
I was going to say, did he think of your great adventure?
He loved it, and that's what I was going to say. Is he almost went to he got a scholarship to go to the Maryland Institute of Art when early after he was in the army, and but my mom didn't want that. She wanted much, because it's a crazy life as an artist, such a roller coaster, and so he didn't do that. He pursued other interests, which was electronics and radiation. He worked at the Hopkins lab, I think, in radiation for a while, and then developed his own company. But he always loved music, and he played a lot of harmonica. And that part in that song, children stay in the middle of the road. Children stay in the middle, don't turn to the right, don't turn. Stay. That's part of that. And he used to play harmonica too. He loved like bluesy gospel stuff. And we were traveling, on the vacations we were on, and he loved to just, take us up to New York and see something. And he loved to move around. He was a great traveler. True Sagittarius.
So you came about your wanderlust naturally.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yes. I just moving, traveling, seeing, meeting people, kind of figuring out sort of how it fits together, and still figuring out how I fit into it.
But then you sort of have to be like that for your job,
Yes.
right? I mean, you couldn't be really a sedentary singer-songwriter.
No, but I do now. One of the things that's really important to me is to give other up and coming singer songwriters a chance, and then to meet up with friends on the road. So I'm doing different things, and also teaching. There's I kind of get serious with it, and really see, okay, this is going to happen here, this is going to happen here. Plan a little bit better, because there's an ending point, and you could, as my feet get more entrenched in the ground, I realize that the cycle of things it's important to have to sort of plan that out and be a little bit more. My name means Rutstein, means roots. The name Rutstein, I just learned this recently in visit to Germany, means cornerstone. The Rutstein means cornerstone of a building. Which I never really hear it or see it, whereas when I'm looking at the word roots behind you, Captain, so I'm thinking,
That's interesting. So you are a cornerstone, though, in this business, in a way. Yeah.
Aqueduct.
Well, it's better than some things you could choose to call yourself, I suppose.
Yes. And I like the idea of it, too, because I present, I think, sometimes really like, what? Like very flaky and, airy and stuff. And my name is the complete opposite. And I was like, so maybe I should embrace that more.
Well, you could give it a try, but then you can always just pick up and go if you don't like it.
Yeah.
So we found out that you were about 15 or so when you started writing seriously. Was music always something that you loved? Or did that come after?
No, always. I used to take the guitar off the wall when we grew up. We had my dad made like a stucco basement, a Spanish cellar, and we had a little Martini, which is a very awesome company, which I finally saw. There's a company actually that still makes classical guitars called Martini, out of Spain.
Okay.
And I think it's out of Spain, but I know it's Martini, and they're still in business. And I was like, oh my goodness, it was so. I've been to these conventions playing the Sonia Santa Cruz, and and I never saw this before. But anyway, I would play it. It was actually, truthfully, it was the Suzuki method. I didn't know that at the time, but I imagine from what I know about Suzuki and violinists, that's. So maybe it was the Martini.
The Martini.
I'm trying to get the Sonioni. I've always wanted to be Italian, but
You could come up with your own method and name it after yourself.
What I did was I just played. I played guitar and sang songs I knew, and ones I was making up. And at some point, like around 13, I was like, wait a minute, I should maybe learn like really where these go and maybe how this
Right,
happens.
the real way to do it.
Yeah.
But that's not as much fun.
Well, it was. I mean, because then you want to go, I can do this. And then it was like, I want to create that note. And you mentioned clouds, and I did a Joni Mitchell benefit a couple months ago. Well, not that long. Well, yeah, 2 months ago on her birthday, which I can't remember if it's the 7th or the 9th of November. Because that was a big song.
Right,
Clouds
right,
was a great
of
song. That was
course.
one of the ways I discovered her. So, Judy Collins,
So-
and that kind of music really. So.
And I guess you have to know the correct notes in order to really play with other people.
Well, this is the type of business that will, if it's working, people will stay.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess people could be laughing at you. My friends did when I first started writing my songs, which is why I took poetry from like 17 magazine and stuff, and would start to just put music to that.
Right.
Because my personal stories were making people laugh, and they weren't making me laugh at all.
Oh,
They
that
were-
was not your intention.
No. And I'm just figuring how words come together, and
Well, who were you listening to at the time? Who were you listening to and watching?
in high school,
Yeah. Were there
well,
any
like-
role models?
well, I love Joni Mitchell,
Mhm.
but Joni is Joni, you know,
Yeah.
like. But I used to say if Joni Mitchell was gay, maybe I wouldn't have discovered my own journey, but because I was just so into singing, playing her songs.
Right.
But then they weren't my songs; they were her songs, and there were some big differences. So I loved. I listened to the Grateful Dead. I listened to the Moody Blues. I listened to Simon and Garfunkel. I liked Cat Stevens. I'm thinking of the books that my brother would buy for me or get for me.
You
I
were
did-
basically listening to everything that was popular,
Yeah. I mean,
and they were good songs.
Yeah, and I liked, but I mean, and then also, and then Phil Oakes, actually, that was like, whoa,
But the-
he was a big whoa, like, wow, you can say that in a song? Cool, that's the ticket.
Well, was that your first exposure to somebody that was a little bit left of center?
Yeah, very much so. I mean, you know, it was easy to get a CSN song or even a
Mhm.
Dylan song on the radio, but Phil Oakes was like, whoa.
Yeah.
You know, and I loved it, and also I guess just his music, his voice was a little weird, and I think mine was. I'll go with that in a good moment, and just not, well, I can even say is, because it's not, you know, my voice, it's a way of me putting these songs over.
Mhm.
You know, it's not a Taylor Swift, it's not a Beyonce, you know, it just is, you know, and I don't mean what you can train it to do, I mean, because you can work and sing pretty awesome, you know, but it's never going to have the tones that Andre Bocelli has, you know, or trying to think of someone, Sarah Bareilles or someone, you know, like, just different, you know, just,
So there you are, you've gotten yourself through high school, and it's time to go off to college. You're not a music major, though.
Actually, I did ethnomusicology as a minor,
Mhm.
and my major was film, because I thought I'd be writing music for film, which I've done some of.
So we were actually, Sonia and I found out last year that we actually were in the same college at the same time, living in the same dorm.
Yes.
And the only way we realized this was on Facebook, looking at pictures of a huge snowstorm that was in Boston.
Yes.
That we realized we were in the same dorm
Yes.
at the same time.
Yes.
Because our view of the storm was exactly the same.
Right.
But, you know, we were in the same school, if that was the case, because I was in the journalism department.
Okay, I was undeclared.
Oh,
Imagine
so
that.
you were in the film department, though.
Yes.
You're taking film classes.
Yeah,
So we
yeah,
obviously saw each other often
Yeah.
without knowing it,
That's true.
you know, which is pretty funny.
It is.
Because then we saw each other 10 or 15 years later when I interviewed you.
Yes.
So there you were in Boston, which is not only the greatest place, Boston, Massachusetts,
Love
the
it.
greatest place to go to college because there are 18 million other students.
Mhm.
But what a music town.
Yeah.
And that was when you could hear everything. We
Yes.
had punk bands coming through. We had
Mhm.
pop bands.
Jazz.
We had jazz. We had classical. We had bluegrass. We had folk music. We had everything.
Yeah, yeah.
And where we lived was right near the big punk club and right near the, you know, decent folk club and right near the rock club
Right.
and right near everything. And tickets were cheap and you were a student and you could
Yeah.
get in.
Yeah.
So did you spend a lot of your time listening to music?
We went out a lot. Yeah, we did. It was crazy. Although I did that more the first semester there, and less the
Mhm.
following semester because I needed to bring my
Yeah.
grades up.
Well, that's pretty common, I think.
Yeah, no, it was awesome, and I saw like the Joffrey Ballet for the first time there, and some other they had like really good packages that you could get of
For students.
For students.
Yeah, that's what being a student is all about, right?
So
Exposing yourself to other stuff and,
Yes.
and listening and growing.
And for me, being in an urban city for the first time.
Right, me too.
But there's a big difference between crossing the street in New York and crossing the street in Boston. Because in Boston, they'll stop.
Right. Well, that's why Boston is a very great school to go from. Boston is a great city for a student, especially one that grew up in the suburbs, right? Because it's a big city, but not that big of a city.
No, yeah.
Right, it's
true.
manageable.
Yes, yes, and yeah, it was a great. I was dating a guy from MIT. It was still my BU time. Yeah, it was funny. It was good.
So that was all this music coming at you. Is that when you sort of set off on your own course and said, I can make my own?
I
Music?
did start doing my own
Yeah.
music. Actually, this friend of mine, David, who just came to my show at the Genghis Khan again, and you travel, so you're away, and people's lives go on, and then you touch again, and then you're like, wow, you're just right there with it. Very good, true friends. So he was James Taylor, and I was Joni Mitchell, and I got some underground stuff, tapes that they'd done from her time in Greece, and so it was like the real Carrie and Night in the City and all that stuff, and I loved it. And David's voice actually really sounds a lot like James Taylor, and he was so, dedicated to his Martin guitar and just doing all those pull-offs and stuff, and really helped me with what I was doing too. And we did harmonies, and I sang on some of his songs, he sang on mine. We were just really starting to write. He ended up going into film, really, and I think he did a year of the music thing, but it was way too a hobo existence for him, and not for me.
Because you're still doing it.
That's right.
Well, let's have another song.
Okay.
The new album, which we have sort of neglected to mention, is called Broken Film. And I've got to ask you about the title for that one. Because I love the idea of it.
Thank you. It's another father thing, in a way, a moment of that. My stepmom gave me a box of cassettes and 8mm films that my dad had taken. And I got the film projector as well. And I love analog stuff anyway. You can tell there's nothing. There's just me and my guitar singing it right through my microphone.
Yep,
Just
right, that's
just
it.
me and Robert
That's it.
Johnson, right? No EQs, no.
No.
No,
What
no
what I'm
auto-tune.
seeing is what you're hearing.
Yeah, we're doing. We're doing.
Yeah. No auto-tune
which I like.
either.
I really like that. I love it actually, and I'm not the only one.
Right.
A good thing. So on one of the films, I think it was my sister's birthday party, like 6-year-old birthday party, it said "broken film" in pencil on the plastic little reel, and I just saw it, and I was like, and there have just been things that have happened between me and Cindy, first having the band, and then her doing different things and coming back. I mean, I didn't find another harmony singer because, well, I never would find another sister like her, but I always thought she would come back and do music with me, and it just dawned on me about 2 years ago that she's not going to do that. About a year and a half ago. I left the position open for 18 years.
Right now I finally got to admit that
And so I just really was processing all of that, changes that happened, to look back, a look close, and let myself look at it. And that's,
wow.
that's really what that is. And yeah, that's the essence of the title.
So that's the title to Sonia's new album. It's called Broken Film. And we're going to hear another song now.
Yes. Let's do another one from that one.
Okay.
Let's just shake it up a little, all right?
Absolutely. You're the guest. You can play whatever you want.
This goes out to my father-in-law, Don. Oh, I'm going to have to tune.
That's all right.
Sorry.
This room is very dry, and people often have to tune after every song or before every song.
I got a very beautiful review in the Washington Post several years ago about awesome songs, awesome night. Tune a little more, and it's like, oh, okay, never got that before. So I don't know his member's name, but he's out there. No, I agree. I mean, tuning is just sometimes you're just in the momentum of it, and sometimes I strike the chord and I'm like, whoa, think again. This is the banker. Not a bank, it's a banker. Not a paper, not a symbol. Not a building, not a bubble, just some fancy human being. Not a bank, it's a banker. Not a paper, not a symbol. Not a building, not a bubble, just some fancy human being. This is the story of a
talking today with Sonia about her latest CD, which is called Broken Film. The song is The Banker. When you're teaching songwriting to people, how do you talk to them about writing political songs or songs about current events?
Well, you don't want to, you don't want it to be too long. You want it to be true. It's going to be, it may or may not have a long shelf life, but that sort of, it's kind of, you kind of wish sometimes it had a much shorter one. I'm still doing folk songs and stuff about issues that were quite political or humanistic, as I like to say, from the 60s and still very much true in certain places, maybe everywhere. Because that's where fear is. And
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
where it goes. So, it's a good question. I really I don't know. Only thing I can do is dissect it song by song. I taught a songwriting school at the Kerrville Folk Festival a couple years ago, and I found the best way to do it, because I don't know. I mean, I'm just like, I just edit constantly, you know, and but I needed to look at it because I needed to teach it.
Yeah.
And so what I did was we dissected the song, for lack of a better way of saying it, dissected, Me Too. And I went through my process of it, which for some people would be, you know, considered a political song. For some people would be considered, well, a heart song.
Maybe we should play the song off one of your records. Unless, or do you want to sing it? I would sing a little bit of it?
Yeah,
Why
yeah.
don't you sing a little bit of it, and then you could talk about that bit in particular.
Okay. Well, it was a process. You know, the song really came from my life experience and just my wife's experience, who just talked to me about her dad being a soldier in the Vietnam War and having he served 3 tours in Vietnam, and yet he encouraged her. I mean, she wore POW bracelets and would write checks to buy them and drove her to and he was in the Marine Corps. I mean, he was very involved, and he was a career man, and he was a wonderful person, giving his life to this country and leading so many people. And Terry's upbringing was different than mine. I watched the Vietnam War on television more so. I didn't have anybody except my uncle was in the Navy, and we would write letters and stuff. But I really didn't know very much, but she lived it, you know, lived through it. So quite different. And so I just really took words from her and said her daddy was a soldier. I'll play a little of it, and we'll see. We could do even a stop and go if you want.
Well, whatever you think is a good way of explaining.
Okay. Because you never get to do this.
Yeah.
Which is the
Oh,
difference
I'm
between a good song
fascinated by
and a
it.
not
Yeah.
very a song that you need to explain. Not so good. Because
Okay.
you can't do that on a CD.
Right.
But here we can do it.
Sure.
It's wonderful.
I love it.
And some
It's a
songs
treat for me.
are far more complicated. Her daddy was a soldier in the Vietnam War. She was proud to see her father in a fresh pressed uniform. He came home on a stretcher in 1966. Welcome back, fellow Americans, throwing tomatoes and sticks. Now, she was 6. She was at Fort Ord, and that was pretty scary. And they were throwing the tomatoes so it looked like for drama, for the media.
Sure.
He didn't have blood on the outside of it, what he was wearing, but he was, you know, on a stretcher. I mean, horrible.
Right.
You know, and that's the first time she's seeing all of this too. So
That was
That
scary.
was like-
It must have been very scary.
oh yeah, it's
when you're 6
sad,
years
you know?
old.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. So
I mean, scary on a lot of levels, because there's your big, strong dad, first of all,
right.
not being big and strong and tall.
Right.
Right.
And then I think it just goes right into the chorus, which, but America shines in front of me, and all the world could see if they wanted to. I'll raise this flag for you, and this is Me Too. This sort of sets up the song in that he doesn't say, my country did this bad thing to me. Marines never say that. They say, what can I do? What else can I do? Who needs help? You know?
Yes.
My vision of all of that was that they wanted, like I thought that and I thought they wanted a war. I thought they were like, I thought they wanted a, you know, have this like macho aggression kind of thing going. That is not the way it was at all. I mean, the way, in fact, if you are that way, you can't even get in. And, I mean, my feeling, but that's what I thought, because that's what it looked like in my world, you know. So it's like,
From just
I
seeing
don't
it
wanna
on
tell you, like,
television
me,
and
I don't-
not
yeah,
knowing.
yes,
Yeah.
and seeing that, you know. So I was the opposite end of it, when the truth really was is that it was to make it so that people there could have a life like a good life, you know, like, have their children get a good education, take them for an ice cream, you know.
That they were fighting for that,
Yes.
not just fighting for the sake of fighting.
Exactly,
Yes.
and I didn't understand, and so anyway, so that chorus sort of says, "But America shines." It's sort of like the flag is really for everybody. Then the girl grows a little bit. Okay, so she grew up on a Bible. She grew up on love. She grew up thinking she could change the world if she only worked hard enough. So she became a lawyer, hoped to marry a good-looking man. But she fell in love with the girl next door, so that wasn't part of the plan. It's like, whoa. Well, where'd that come from? So I did that song live on the radio in Texas one time. And the DJ finished the song and like basically said, "Thanks for coming by. Bye-bye."
Oh no.
I was like, oh, why did I do that song? Because I was supposed to have like a 15-minute or 20-minute interview, and I did that one, and I was wearing a hat, and he goes, "Great hat. See ya."
Oh
Like,
no.
and I was killing myself. I was like, what an idiot I am. But what happened was people called in, loved it. It's a little town in Texas, and commercial radio station, and I got asked back the next year to do
Wonderful.
it again. And when he came out of the booth to say hello to me, Steve was his name. "Hello, Steve. Where are we all?" He said, "Fell in love with the girl next door. I nearly fell off my chair last year when you sang that." He put out his hand to welcome me back. I was like, because I think he did. I think I almost slid off.
Right.
So,
But the people spoke, and
yeah.
you were back.
and I was back, and back to the festivals too, so it's good. Okay, so then another chorus, and then there's a bridge that goes, "Well, the years spin by, the corn grows high, for every train you catch, you miss one. So much of life just races by, it's time to tell Daddy this one." And this is where I got stopped when I was writing it, because I didn't know where it was all gonna be, and I wrote a lot of different endings. I wrote a lot of different things, and then I just saw it, and it was like it was a real epiphany in the whole thing. Or he was, and yet, 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 or he was, and yet.